Hello, Aries, and welcome to this, your early April reading. Reading predictions. We're going to look at some energies that are influencing you. Aries, this is a general reading, and it's intended for anybody born under the sign of Aries, as well as anybody who has a significant amount of Aries in their birth charts. Before I dive into the cards, I just want to clear up a couple of things because I get asked questions all the time about timing. The intention behind this particular reading is to look at the time period between April the 1st and April the 15th, 2023. Some people say to me, hey, you said on April 15th this was going to happen and it didn't happen. There's two reasons why the timing doesn't line up and why some things don't happen. When you consult with a psychic intuitive or a tarot card reader, they are actually tapping into a different realm or a different plane of existence, the ethereal realm. And time moves at a different rate in different timelines, in different planes, in different realms, whatever word you want to put onto it. Time moves at a different rate of speed. And therefore, sometimes the timing can be off when we're doing psychic or tarot readings. Some psychics get very, very good at being able to interpret what the timeline is on the other side and then bring it forward into our earthly plane. Others, not so much. So that's one reason why sometimes timelines don't add up. The second reason, Aries, is because you have free will. Free will means you make choices and decisions every day. When a psychic is doing a reading, they are reading your energy in the moment, in the here and now, based on the projected decisions that you're going to make in the very near future. But what can happen is based on reading your energy in the here and now, the psychic may pull some cards and show, I don't know, that you're going to contact your ex in 2 weeks. And you're all, no way, no way, no way, not going to happen. And then you use your free will and you begin to make conscious decisions and choices in order to move away from the predicted outcome. Because that predicted outcome wasn't in alignment with who you were, except your unconscious was taking you there. And so consciously you begin to make decisions, you steer yourself away from that. And all of a sudden the psychic's prediction doesn't come true and you're going, hey, you said that. Yeah, but you used your free will and you changed it. So speaking again of free will, let me remind you, Aries, that each one of you has free will. And if you have a really, really important decision to make coming up, I highly recommend that you don't rely solely upon a psychic reading or a tarot card reading. By all means, tap in and consult with a psychic or an intuitive or a medium or tarot cards. By all means, tap into that. But also tap into your friends, your family, your professor, your religious leader, your aunts, your uncles, whoever, your besties as well. Tap into everybody, ask for advice and input, throw all of that into a pot, or in my case, a cauldron, give it a big stir, and then tap into your own heart center, Aries, and make your decision from that place. Okay. All right. For those of you who are returning, thank you so much for coming back. And for those of you who are new here, just a quick heads up, I do work with a number of different tarot decks as well as oracle card decks. And as I pull the cards, I do leave them on my work surface face down. The reason that I do this is because it allows for more of the psychic and intuitive juices to flow rather than me seeing the whole spread and being able to jump ahead based solely upon the face of a card. If I turn things over, then I tap in intuitively and things begin to roll out and play out. And I find that that gives the reading a little bit more weight and significance for people. All right. The very first card that we're going to pull for you, Aries, is the card of where you are at now as I'm doing this reading here at the end of March. I'd been kind of thumbing and playing with this deck while I was doing that intro spiel, so I know that the cards are meant to come from there. So, Aries, where are the Aries at now? Where are the Aries at now? Which energies are influencing the Aries here? End of March. Oh, there's one and two. They were hiding at the end of the deck here. Anything else? No. Okay. So we do have two cards that have jumped out for you. All right. And we are going to have a look at what are you focusing on, Aries? We're going to pull cards for what you are focusing on here for April 1st through the 15th. What are the Aries focusing on? Okay. Anything else? All right. All right. The next card that we're going to pull is a card of difficult influences. So let's see what's coming up under difficult influences for the Aries, April 1st through the 15th. These cards are being a little bit sticky right now. Difficult influences for the Aries. Well, maybe you don't have any difficult influences this month, Aries. Oh, you do. Two of them fell out just as I was setting the deck down, so we'll take those. Okay, the next card that we're going to pull for you, Aries, is a card of this makes sense. And it's a card that sometimes helps to pull the first couple of cards together so that the reading becomes more cohesive. And at other times, it's a card that has an identical meaning to one of the other cards that's already come up, reinforcing that energy. So I am getting called over here to this deck. What makes sense for the Aries right now? April 1st through the 15th. What makes sense? Okay. All right, we'll go through the deck a second time here. What makes sense? There's one. What makes sense? Anything else? No, that's it. Okay. The next card that we're going to pull is unexpected influences and unexpected insights. Okay. Unexpected influences and insights for the Aries. 1, 2. Is there anything else? Okay. So just a heads up, you may see a person go walking in behind me. That's my son. Okay, the final cards that we're going to pull for you before we actually start turning these cards over and reading them, Aries, is the cards of your general overall outcome. Now, these cards are pulled with the intention of predicting or projecting where you're going to be at come April 15th, as well as the energies that are going to be influencing you. So let's tap into the outcome for Aries. General overall outcome for Aries, mid-April 2023. All right. Well, let's go through the deck one more time then. One more time. Oh, there's one. Is there anything else? Anything else for the Aries for the outcome? Yep. Oh, that one really flew. I'm going to have to bend down and get that one. Anything else? Yep, there's another one. more. Okay. Excuse me for just a second here, Aries. Okay. That card came up first. That card was second, third, and fourth. Okay. Let's get started. All right. Where are you at right now, Aries? Okay. You have two cards that came up from the Osho Zen. The first card that came up is the Silence card. This is a card about retreating into your own little world. Not so much like the Hermit, but this is a card calling you into meditation and calling you into going within. What I'm picking up for you from this card, as well as the card that came out with it, which is the Two of Rainbows, also known as the Two of Pentacles, is that things have been bumpy for you the last couple of months. There's been some ups and downs. If memory serves me, I do believe that you may have had a tower moment, maybe even last month. And so right now, here at the end of March, you're sitting in this place of silence, and you're in this place of taking things moment to moment. You know, that saying that a rather large organization uses, one day at a time. And so this is kind of an indication, Aries, that where you're at now, you're stepping back a little bit, and you're really, really in that place of quiet introspection. The other thing that I want to point out is that this two that's come up here, and I'm getting a reflection on the camera, so hopefully that's coming into focus. Yeah, the sun is kind of awkward there. Anyway, this two, which is the Two of Pentacles, is, so the Pentacles is representative of the element of earth, and it also represents job or money. And the twos in the tarot always represent a duality, where you're coming into that place of needing to make a decision. And so you need to take things step by step as you're going forward. So with regards to your money at this time, if I were to give you any advice, and I'm not a certified financial advisor, so the advice that I'm giving you is just general overall advice regarding money. Take things slow right now. Do all of your research and pay really close attention, making sure that all of your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed. Okay. Let's have a look at what you are focusing on, Aries, for the beginning of April. You have the Medicine Mother here. I'm going to try and get that out of the reflection of the sun. You have the Medicine Mother here, and this is honor your inner knowing. And the second card that you have is the Mountains card. This is the card of stand your ground, but this is also a card of recognizing that everything is not always as it seems, and there's stuff going on below the surface that you might not be aware of. So with regards to what you're focusing on right now, Aries, honor your inner knowing. And as I mentioned, with this very first card that came out, you are in that place of taking moments of silence, stepping into meditation, and that still small, consulting with that still small voice in your head. And this is a card to honor that still small voice in your head. You know, as you tap into it, what's coming up for me here? So a lot of people say, oh yeah, I meditate every day. Do they actually honor what comes up during their meditation? No, they sit quietly. There may be insights that come up, and then they get up and they get on with their day and they fall right back into the old habits. This card is asking you not to do that, Aries. It's asking you to honor what you're actually learning in your quiet moments. The other thing about this being the Medicine Mother is pay close attention to your health. From the 1st to the 15th of April, when the Medicine Mother shows up in a reading, it's asking you to pay really close attention to your health. Make sure you're drinking enough water, you know, pay attention to the fruits or the vegetables you're eating. wash pesticides off. You know, I'm not a medical doctor. I can't give you specific advice in this area, Aries, but I can just say generally take good care of yourselves when the medicine mother shows up in a reading. The Mountain card is a card of stand your ground and a card of focusing on that which is unseen. Okay. When we focus on that which is unseen, which with the Silence card and the Medicine Mother here, you are definitely in that place of needing to focus on the unseen. When you focus, hey Kitty, when you focus on the unseen, things come up that would not come into you and come to your conscious attention via the 5 physical senses. And that's really important for you at this time, Aries. Pay attention to the unseen. Let's have a quick peek here at your difficult influences. Your difficult influences, you have the 4 of Summer, which is also known as the 4 of Cups. And this is a card of not seeing something that's right in front of you. This is a card of there's an opportunity being presented to you and you're staring off into space. Okay. I'm just going to see if this card will come into focus for you there. And you'll notice there's a little cherub down at the bottom here who is offering a gift up to the fairy. And the fairy doesn't even know that he's down there. Instead, she's, staring off into space and not even paying attention. Okay. So Aries, you're being called to be paying attention to this still small voice, right? And what are you going to do with that? You need to honor the inner knowing, honor those lessons. You need to stand your ground, pay attention to what's going on below the surface. And your difficult influence is that you're sitting here staring off into space. Okay. So what this is basically saying, Aries, is that from the 1st to the 15th of the month, you are being called upon to go within. You're being called upon to still that conscious mind and dig deeper into the subconscious mind. And instead, you've got little cherubs floating around saying, la, 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 I'm offering you gifts. And here you are going. Okay. The second card that you have is the Chariot in your difficult influences. You're not the first zodiac sign this month to have this card in this particular position of the reading. And what this card indicates is that great things will ride in on a golden chariot to us if we are being dedicated, if we are actively pursuing our goals. Okay. This coming up in difficult influences is an indication that you're not dedicated to what you want to achieve right now. You've put something out there and then you're resting on your laurels and just waiting for it to come to you. And this is saying that's not going to happen, Aries. You're going to have to be proactive. Let's have a look at this. Makes sense. Okay, Aries. I can't remember which sign it was. There was one other sign that had the Chariot and difficult influences. And in This Makes Sense, they had the Fire and the Intensity card as well. So you're not in this alone right now, Aries. The Fire card or the Intensity card coming up here in your This Makes Sense position of the reading is basically saying that you need to be more intense with what you're doing. You need to be more dedicated to what you are doing. And what you are being called upon to do right now is tap into that still small voice and do it with intensity. Do it as if, okay, how do I explain this with not sounding off? Okay. If your house was on fire, you'd be taking action with intensity to either get that fire out or get out of the house and get your family members out. Okay. There would be such an intensity in your emotions and your dedication to doing that. And what you're being called upon with regards to these cards is to have that same kind of intensity and dedication, but do it long term. Don't just do it in the moment, right? Don't just do it in the moment. The next cards are your unexpected influences or insights. You have two cards here. You have the Water Guardian and you have the Eagle. Okay. Remember what I said, you had this medicine mother that came out. And one of the things that I recommended is that you take care of your health and make sure that you are staying hydrated, and you're staying hydrated with good, high quality water and not just dumping sodas and sugars and other things into your body. And now here you have the Water Guardian coming up. This is another indication to pay attention to the water that you may be consuming or you may be bathing in this month. The other message that's on this card is connect with your emotions. That makes sense, because if we're sitting in a meditation and we're not connected to our emotions, then as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of people that meditate, but they don't put into practice in their conscious life that which came up for them in their meditation, which completely defeats the purpose of meditating in the first place. And this Water Guardian is reminding you that when you connect with your emotions, you are better able to put into practice that which comes up for you through the medicine mother, through honoring your inner knowing, and through the silence. The second card that you have is the Eagle, representing seeing things from a higher perspective. We know that eagles can fly extremely high, and yet they still have eagle eye vision. Sorry, pun intended. They still have the ability to see a small rodent on the ground half a mile below, and then they dive and they go after it. So there's actually two messages in this card for you, Aries. See things from a higher perspective here from April 1st through April 15th. But the other message is be prepared to take action. Be prepared to dive when opportunities present themselves. All right, your last few cards. All right, you actually have, you have 2 pentacles and you have 2 major arcana here. Interesting. So the first card that you have is the Innocence card. And this card is calling upon you to, sorry, I've got quite a reflection there. Hopefully that's not too reflected or washed out. There we go. Okay. So you have this Innocence card coming up, Aries, as your final card. And what this card is indicating is that when you are observing things, observe them. Observe them with the innocence of a child. No judgments. Hello, kitty. Observe everything that comes up and is happening with the innocence of a child, with that childlike wonder. You have the 10 of Pentacles coming up. This is the We Are the World card. As I mentioned, you have the 2 of Pentacles coming up as your Where Are You Now? You now have the 10 of Pentacles coming up, indicating that good financial news is on its way to you. You have the Courage card coming up. This card is telling you, Aries, that as you move through the 1st through the 15th of April, you're being told that some things may seem a little bit tough. It may seem like your seed has fallen into a little crack here, and it's going to have to struggle to try and get water and nutrients. But ultimately, once it reaches out here, it's going to be able to pop up and become the beautiful flower that you are meant to be. This is about you. You are this flower, and you are ultimately meant to come out and be this beautiful bloom and reach for the sun and reach for the stars. Okay. But you do have to find your grounding first. You have to find the right nutrients first. Remember what I said about the medicine mother here, right? Pay attention to your health. So find the right nutrients in order to feed your physical body, but also find and surround yourself with the right people to feed your soul. The final card that you have, which is interesting because here you're going to be wanting to look for the right nutrients to feed your soul. The final card that you have is the Three of Pentacles, also representative of good things coming into your life with regards to money, finances, job, and career. But this card is guiding you to ask for advice, to seek out guidance. Now, remember what I said before I even started pulling cards. By all means, seek out advice, Aries. Seek out advice. But when you seek out advice, don't just accept the first advice that you receive. Throw all of the advice that you receive from different sources, including silence and your inner knowing and your higher perspective, and take all of that advice, take all of that guidance, throw it into that big pot, stir it up, and then make your decisions and choices, Aries. What this final card is telling me in your reading is that by mid-April, it does seem like there's probably going to be a choice that you're going to have to make, a decision you're going to have to make. And it does pertain to job or career or both money and job. There's definitely something coming in for you, Aries, wherein you're going to be put in that position of, you've got the Two of Pentacles, the Three of Pentacles, and the 10 of Pentacles, indicating that there is a decision that needs to be made. And the We Are the World card is an indication that when you make the right decision, the world is your oyster. So on that happy note, I'm going to leave things off. Thank you so much for joining me here, Aries, and I hope that you'll join me again next month. No, not even next month. Join me again mid-month, mid-April for your next reading. Thank you so much.